It's measure 25. So great first 2/3. We got a little hour to go. The plan is to do this. We want to do a little bit of this fifth movement a little bit, and then we're going to go to spend the rest of the session on Dvorak and just kind of get that kind of in place. There's lots of little tricky moments, but we'll just kind of work through them. So I think for this one, let's lead you in a little bit to, let's start at measure 23. Yeah, this is page 43. So page 43, we're going to start at measure 23, and I would say parts. Accompaniment, I would say. Accompaniment, I would say. 3 and... Good. So when you come in, it's just kind of hard to find this new tonality. So you just got to be ready for it, and make sure, sopranos, as you go up to those high G sharps, keep it open, don't clip the sound. Give us a little bit more non confundar, a little crescendo going into it so the highest notes don't jump out. And basses and tenors, we need a little bit more of you in the final bit of this cadence. One more time. This is 23 is the bar. That's not you. You're not a soloist. So be ready for that. I would leave yourself a note because in the heat of battle, you might just get a little charged up. Let's do 49, page 49. Let's just work through those melodies just to make sure we get them. So not too. All of these are generally soft to start, but each one is kind of building in intensity and volume. So here we go. Letter X and. On the non to the con, can you always think a little bit of crescendo? Non, con, fu, non. Just it grows somewhere. It just sits a little bit. We don't hear the low note going to the next note. So just a little more crescendo every time on the word non, whether it's a half note or 2/4. James and Mark, are you already singing in 82? Oh, let's add you guys both there. Our designated tenors occasionally. And tenors, can you be a little stronger at 82? Especially on the low note. That's the most important one. Let's do that a little bit again with the idea of a little crescendo every time you start your phrase. 3 and And tenors. What I should have said is that each one of these phrases go to fun. Non con fund. That's what I should have said. Much better plan. So non con fundar. Even though it says piano, it's got to have line going to that. So you're always going to the downbeat is the idea. Let's add that. I think you'll find this is a much better idea than the dumb suggestion I just made. Ready? And So I think you can do even more of that, but that's the right answer through all of that. Let's look back ahead to page 48 again. Sopranos, it's just finding that G, A flat, B flat. There's two issues. One is it's darn high. The second issue is it's hard to find. Listen to this. Let's have Nancy kind of play 66 lead in. Don't sing, but just so you can hear the harmony as it progresses here. Let's sing that down the octave, but with Nancy. So we're down the octave. Here's 66, and 1, 2. Good. Let's do it 2 more times, just so we get really confident on the harmony, and then we'll go up the octave. Stratosphere now, and if you don't feel up to it, sit down, but just mentally sing along. Good. Beautiful. That was really lovely. Nicely done. And most of you are doing, if you listen like Lorraine, she's doing, that's exactly what it is. Just think about your It's just a really exposed moment, and we want beautiful sound. That's a really great choir on the recording. You heard them, they're like, oh my God, this is so darn high. They like barely made it too. But we're going to make it in style, but don't feel like you have to make beautiful, technically beautiful words that we can hear. We don't want words, we want beautiful tone. All right, we're backing up now. We got lots of little things to hit here. Sorry, getting a little excited. Can we do tenors and altos at letter W, which is page 46? 46, letter W. These are tenors and altos. Here we go right there, tenors, and think it's possible for you to oversing 61. That's a moment we need a lot of you kind of leading us into that cadence there. The sopranos are doing really tricky stuff. Altos, if you listen for the tenors at W, they lead you into that E flat. Just so you can find that first E flat. And tenors, non, do you notice where the accent, he put the accent? Non confund. So same thing again. Keep thinking non confundor. The accent is always going to there. Let's hear those parts one more time. Letter W. Oh yes, Stephen. 60? Yep. It's murder. Here's 60 in the tenor part. You'd even have trouble with that. I mean, that's practically unsight readable. Let's do 60 and maybe an octave. So let's see. Here go the tenors. 3, 4. And if you want to do it down the octave to just get the notes in your ear, that's fine. 3, 4. F sharp that you sang in 58, that's kind of how I think of that, but it's hard to find the F natural. So let's back up to measure 58 and 2, 3, 4. Let's put the tenors and basses together. That might help a little bit finding that F natural. So basses, we're going to start at, let's start it right before W. Let's do tenors and basses at measure 53. So tenors and basses, 1, 2. Tenors, are you cool-ish? That's a tricky little part. Basses only. Let's do basses only. Tenors, you want to mentally sing along with us, it's fine, but don't sing this time around. This is right before W. Basses only. 1 and. Make sure if you haven't already, this is for everyone, if you haven't, just make sure you go put the markings in. It really helps a lot. It doesn't help a lot, it just makes it so we can do what we need to do. So basses, make sure if you haven't already in 55, it's a breath after every ine ternu. So there's a breath every time. Everybody didn't quite get the one in 55. All right, let's go back and we're going to put everything but the sopranos in. And we're going to start the same spot, right before letter W. Yes, Amy.
Measure 57 for the altos, the G to an A natural.
Yep, so let's do that one, altos. That's 57. This is the one that has a G to the A natural. 3, 4, 1. One more time, and go. Let's back up and do the one that precedes it from the E flat now, and 1. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and that G sharp is kind of a nasty little bugger. Let's do it again. From 59, 3, 4, 1. Good. And let's go back and do that middle one. Measure 57. We still don't have everybody going to A, but you're awfully close now. 3, 4, and down. Good. So if you haven't, better. It's better, but it's tricky. Let's go back and put letter W, everyone but the sopranos. Here's letter W, basses leading us in. 1, 2. Alto. Tenor. Nicely done. That's wicked, that little spot. All right, let's stand and do it with the sopranos. And everybody's in now. We're gonna do the same spot, letter G, or letter W. I don't know where G comes from, but let's see, what are we doing here? Let's do this. Let's do it from there to the soloist entrance. So we're gonna go a pretty big swath now. Here we go. 1, 2. Because that was with Nancy's help. Let's see how we do with her playing accompaniment and doing the same thing we just did. Altos, I'm going to make a change. Measure 73. And soprano 2s, you're no longer singing with the altos here, are you? Are you? Not at 73, right? Okay. That's what I thought. So 73 is where in the middle of 73 is when you go back, correct? If some of you have that low register, we could use more of you down there if it's comfortable. If it's too high, do what you're doing. Altos, mezzo forte now. Okay. We're backing it up. And Felix, did I see a question yet? I didn't hear much, but I heard something about 79, right? 79, you want to hear that? Okay, tenors, let's do that. No. Ready, and 1. Good, a little flatter on the C flat. Non confundar, and 1. Non confundar. Let's put the basses in front of it now. 3, 4, 1. Non confundar. Let's do it one more time. That's great. And 1. I don't know what we did, but that sounded amazing, so we must have fixed it. Did we, Felix? All right, beautiful. Thank you. All right, that's great. We're going to go back again. Let's do the whole darn few. Might as well, right? Take a look. Let's go back to page 43. Nancy's going to play the last 3 measures, and then we'll start, just to save your voices a little bit. Accompaniment now, yeah. All right, so are you ready? Hold on. Good luck. When you get to the fugue, on pages 44, I mentioned this again, but maybe not recently. If you do exactly the dynamics that are there, He took care of everything for us. So if you're singing mezzo forte and then piano, we're going to hear the fugue subjects, the counter subjects beautifully. So watch that again. Sorry, that's the last three bars of 43-ish maybe? Yeah. I think we're gonna do, because I don't want to sing you out on this, and I can easily do that. We're gonna do this on Tuesday and kind of clear up the end of it, especially from page 51 on. We haven't had a chance to do that. I know that's a tricky part, and even if you think you know it at home, it doesn't hold up so much in here, and I get that. So we'll work on this a little bit on Tuesday when you're not super, super tired. But I would want to make sure those of you who are singing service in the morning that you still can. I just want to mention that section that we have worked on. Let me just give you a couple quick notes. So if you go back to page 44, just a couple things I'm hearing, and I know part of it is just working on some of these parts. But altos, when you come in the first time on the counter subject on the top of page 44, I never hear that enough, so that can be stronger. And realize Amy will be doing the solo work, so you got to be there. All right, and then basses, when you come in the first time with the counter subject on measure 39, again a little stronger. That mezzo forte can be a little more. Altos and those singing alto in measure 43, watch your syncopations. Ternum non confundar. Ba 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 ba. Da ba bi ba. We gotta just watch those syncopations. We'll work on that a little bit next time we're together. Tenors, I know it's cruel and unusual punishment, but 49, that subject gets lost because it's. I think you have it. It's just dang high. Is that true? Yes. Okay, I totally get that. That's exactly where I would pause and wait too. So we'll figure that out. We might be able to help you out a little bit there and send a few altos. You know what? Since the soprano twos are covering the alto with you, if you look at measure 45 and the tenor, if a handful of you could do that tenor subject from measure 49 through 51, that would be helpful. If some of you can do that, that's just a spot that we really could use you. And if you're saying to yourself, wow, the next phrase is awfully high too, you can stay with the tenors, through 53 if you want. But that would help the tenors because it's just a really tiring little section. Sopranos, I don't think I ever would have said this. It's top of page 47, soprano ones. You're being so sensitive up there. Almost too sensitive. You can be stronger if you'd like to. If you I feel like I'm just walking on eggshells, if you can and have the power to be a little stronger at 60, 61, I wouldn't shy away from it. If you have it. If you don't, it's lovely what you're doing. And I'm grateful for it. Sopranos, bravo at 67. That is so hard there. I think that's good. So those are the biggies. And then just so you know, in page 51, moving ahead, that's a hard chord to find, I think. Listen to the last line of page 50 into the downbeat of page 51, just so you can hear how the harmony goes there. Which feels like it's from another planet. Let's do 90. I just want to see if you can find the downbeat in 94 for right now. So this is measure 90. Good. That'll help us through there. And then look at one other spot, and that's on page 54. That sounded worse than it probably was. It wasn't Nancy, it was just her. You heard that sound, you look, what happened to Nancy? So this is a little weird what happens. I just want you to watch my hands so you can see what's going on at 117. At 117, we're in 4. Good? Almost. So let's start at 118. And so the mechanics are 120 goes into 2. So the measure before, yup, up, bop, up, bop, bop, up, 1. Non confunda. So right there, and that stays in a 2. The measure before letter Z as in Zach is 1, 2, 3, 4, back into 2. 1, dum, bum, bee, bum, and then it's just there. So the only measure, the only exception to being in 2 is that one bar before letter Z. Just so you know it's coming. We'll rehearse this on Tuesday and really tweak it, but it's coming well. Let's switch gears to Dvorak so we can do a little bit of other stuff. And we're going to do movement 1. So we have a half an hour. My hope is to just kind of, this is a fairly short piece, but it's got little fussy little moments here and there. I just want to get through, hopefully, the first 2 movements and a little bit of the last movement. We'll see how it goes. I think the good thing is we got through a lot of stuff today, and I think the quality of the work we're doing is really good. So thank you for your work at home and your diligence today and for marking those parts. It's going to be stupendous. Don't forget, postcards on your way out. I know it's been a long time since I mentioned this. Postcards on your way out. Help people know. We're going to send an email to you that you can forward to friends, let them know. And then also, if someone says to himself, you know, I really would love to go to this concert, but I just don't feel comfortable going into a venue to hear a concert, remind them that 3 weeks after the concert, they'll be able to buy an online version of it. So, and it'll be good. All right, so let's do this. Let's start at maybe measure 9. Measure 9. Parts to start with, yeah. 3, 4. Lots of rolled R's would be great. Let's do that again. This is with Nancy playing parts. So the most important thing are the tenors and sopranos who have the melody 2 bars apart. So here we go. Same spot again. This is measure 9. 3, 4. Very nice. In measure 53, tenors and basses, make sure that first note's an 8th note, 8th rest. So we can do that all in time. Let's do from the Sanctus, 49. So let's do that a little bit again. From the Sanctus, right on it, 1 and 2. G. I think that would help solidify the pitch at the very end. Soprano's nice and high on the B, that's the third of the chord. On the Sanctus, just give a little bit of warmth and nudge to it. And then that last line, I think that's one we have to just, everybody agree we're going to memorize. Sanctus. Sanctus Dominus Deus. So we're really clean on that. The orchestra is out. It's just us, so we have to be nice and clean. Let's go 49 again, the Sanctus. Kind of see if we can get more of that musical phrasing there. 1 and 2. A little more M. Good, let's do it with accompaniment now. We're going to start on the downbeat of measure 49. Downbeat of 49. Ready? 3, 4. All right, very nice. One of the things that's really difficult about this piece, I think the most challenging thing is what he's doing rhythmically underneath you makes it really difficult. So this one, if we slow down even a hint in 51, 52, it's gonna fall apart on us for the orchestra. So can you be really clean? Make sure your S of Sanctus is before the beat. So we hear tus on the third beats. Here, one more time, 49. So just make sure the S is out of the way and you're getting right to it. Ready? Okay. Good, almost. So basses especially, I think you're just a little late on your first Sanctus. Just be a little, kind of anticipate a little bit more. And then now that you're doing pretty well in 53, I might just relax a little bit. So Sanctus, now we got a little bit of time. So here's the same thing again. Make sure we get the on the third beat. 3, 4. Beautiful. Good, excellent. You got the right idea. Let's do this. We haven't done it yet. Look over on page 10. Just make sure you're ready for C naturals. That A minor chord on downbeat of 33 is a surprise. Let's do this. Let's stand and do it from the sort of the beginning with Nancy playing accompaniment. Let's see how we hold up now. So this is everybody in. And we're going to start the same spot to save Nancy from a million notes. So measure 9, measure 9. So this is what you're on your own now. Good luck. Here we go. 3, 4. Now we're going to skip to bottom of 71, measure 71 now. And good, have a seat. Let's do that a little bit. Thank you, Lorraine. Tenors and basses, you just have to be ready for the page turn, and I will tell you, tenors, historically, this has been a really hard B natural to get in tune. So baritones, I think we talked about in our sectional, always being a little bit stronger. We're in this three-part division, so we hear enough of the middle. And first tenors, just make sure you keep that nice and high. And then the other thing is, again, ba-ba-ba-beep, ba-ba-ba-beep, ba. We can't be even metrically somewhat ambiguous. We have to be really steady there. Let's lead you in at 71 again. And lovely Lorraine is going to sing us in there. And go. Good. Intonation, bravo. Beautifully done, tenors. And everybody, can you just make sure you think about making sure the S of sanctus happens before the beat and that everything lines up, because we're just not together. Can you do one more? Lovely Lorraine. All right, here we go. Same thing, same spot. And same thing, gents. Very good. All right, you got it. Beautiful. One thing I would say for the tenor bass is every time you have this phrase, where we get a little behind is do, minus. If you can just make sure that you and I are together on minus, it's going to make a big difference. So, song, tu, do, minus, de. That's the only one where it gets a little behind, but that was great. You found the minor chord beautifully. Let's skip ahead. We're going to do the measure, let's do two before measure 108. So this is page 16. This is just the last little movement, or last bit of the movement here. So here's 2 bars before rehearsal 2. I would only suggest 117. Make sure at 117 you've got an eighth note rest before the downbeat of 118. That was great. Nice job. Thank you, Lorraine, for helping us out with those. Very nice. All right, we're going to do a little bit of movement 2 because I don't think I've done it with the ladies yet. So ladies, let's go to measure 37. Just to get kind of used to this little entrance here. So this is measure 37, it's page 20. lot of Latin, isn't it? Let's do it right at te ergo. So te ergo. I'm a little fast, which isn't helping you. 1 and 2 and. And you hear how subveni is just such a great chord. Let's kind of lean into that chord a little bit. The subveni. One more time. One more time. 1 and 2. Now, big crescendo, romantic crescendo. Can we try 46 with a little lift before Radamisti? You're going to make such a better sound, aren't you? It's just too long of a darn phrase. All right, so that's a change. That's a change at home. Right before the re mi, so the third beat, we're going to shorten a little bit. That's the middle of 46 after sanguine. I think it's going to make that so much more beautiful and easier and stunning. You can overdo that crescendo. That's a molto crescendo in 45. We're going to go back to measure 40, just so you can do it with it to kind of find those pitches now. So you're beautiful. That was great, ladies. Just be ready. It's a tricky one to just have to go. It feels so weird and awkward to come in on the third beat. We're moving ahead now. Tenor basses, this is your moment. This is measure 60 is where we're going to start. Here's 60, leading you in. So this is page 22. And we added for you the same thing. We added that little lift in measure 70 after sanguine. Kay, are you singing that one? Are you singing this little part? I would love it. That would be nice. Let's hear 65 again. Let's start right on it, and then we'll do it with a couple. This is just parts again, or kind of a combination. 3, 4. That crescendo on the first one can be even more. I'm thinking if you can do what you did the first 2 measures, te ergo quesumus, a little more crescendo, and then a little crescendo to subveni. Yes, Zach? We changed that, so it's sanguine lift. So you can make that G flat even more heavenly. So here's 60 everybody, leading you in again. This is with accompaniment now. Use the crescendo. So just look what's happening in the accompaniment. You've got triplets, ya da 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 along, bum bee bee ba ba ba. It is, I think, his attempt to see, can we mess up everybody as much as possible. So that page is going to be really difficult if we're not really metrically together. So just be aware, you have to sing these beautiful, wonderful legato lines, but we got to be really tight on the rhythm. But that's great, beautiful, nice job, tenor basses. That was glorious. And we're moving on to, let's see, let's do the third movement. Let's do the third movement. Let's stand in the whole thing, see what happens. It's going to be exciting, I can tell. So this one goes quite quickly. I'm sorry, page 24, the next movement, I should have said. So page 24 is where we are. And it's going to be, ya da 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 da, you got it. Oh, nice. Beautiful. All right, here we go. Good luck, everybody. So lots of good stuff. This is a tricky little Wagner to do really well. Let's look first at page 26. So what's a little weird about this is just the harmony here. So let's do this. Let's hear the everybody but the basses. This is at measure 54, 55 is the measure. The first et rege eus. All right, so here we go. One and go. So your part is really quite easy, right? Very simple. The basses, you go, the first measure, the first one we do is a B major chord, but then when the basses go up a half step for the next one, it makes it a G augmented chord. It means 1, 3, and a sharp 5. And so the same thing happens in a C major, the next one. Then the basses go up a half step and make it a G sharp augmented. So let's do this. Let's talk about just the basses, your part now, 55. So when you go to that second, the second and fourth one, those are quite important. 1 and go. natural, nice and high, from the G to the G sharp, nice and high. Let's put everybody in at 55. 5-5, everyone's in. 1 and up. Bases. Good. So I would say with this one, you're really better if you think ba, 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 ba. Our tendency is when we get softer, especially in this piece, is to get slower. So we don't want to do that. In measure 80, make sure your downbeat is an eighth note, eighth rest. Basses, remember, a little lift before you go down to that low F sharp. Let's do that a little bit again. Let's get from measure 70. You're at Reggie Eus, even though I can't say it or great. So let's do it. Extole. 1 and go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. And then the next is good. Tenors, you did a beautiful job. Reminder that that little decrescendo, the first decrescendo on the bottom of page 28, we aren't doing that to misprint. The tricky part is it's easy. But the one is hard. That one's the tricky one to come in because you're in the middle of a bar, even more so. Let's do basses and sopranos singing the first one in measure 110. So we're going to all sing that little melody. This is sopranos and basses at Laudamus. 1 and go. Good, and make sure we get the loom one more time. 1 and go. Good, let's do altos lead us in this time. We're at 103 altos are leading us in. Let's have it, everybody sing it for right now. Ready and go. Good. Just be ready for that. You just got to be ready for it. Let's do everybody on your own part now. This is top of page 29. Everybody on your own part. Yum bum bum bum. Can you promise me you'll tap somewhere a quarter notes? Everybody, I bet you'll find out it's better. Everybody tap something in quarters. Here we go. The same thing. 1 and go. Keep beating quarters. Good. Did you notice how much cleaner it was? Totally different. This one you really have to feel it. If you don't feel the pulse of the quarters, we'll just get slow and slushy. So it's really important we don't. Tenors, let's see if you can find that note. If you listen to 124, measure 124, listen to the part below the accompaniment there. So if you look at the measure 125, 26, the accompaniment leads you to that B natural that you're going to want to try to find. So I would try to find that note earlier. If you wait till the it's harder. Listen to it again. 124. Listen to 124 again. Alright, basses, can you sing that lower part with him? Bass are going to lead you in. You're going to sing the bass part of the left hand of the piano. Ready, and. Keep the tempo. Woo, it's 1 o'clock. I hope you feel as good as I do, but my gosh, was that fun today. Thank you to Nancy, she put a million notes. All right, we're gonna have fun on Tuesday, but this is really great, super work. I can't tell you how rewarding it is to work with you. And thank you guys. See you next time.